Ba weep grogna weep ninny TF addicts, and welcome to another update video because that seems to be what I'm best at. And even then, I don't really keep you guys up to date with everything. In case you don't know, I'm TFA 1024, the TF addict. Of course, if you're subscribed, you obviously know who I am. But if you're not, hi. I've honestly been trying to do this type of update for literal weeks. For some reason, recording it didn't feel right. I had a good idea on how to portray it, like with visuals, like it was going to be a voiceover with some footage from Transformers Armada and various other Transformers media, but for some reason, it didn't feel right. I didn't like doing it that way. So here we are. We're doing it live, and hopefully my brain doesn't decide to just crap out on me and I struggle. But then again, I'm always struggling. So, and before we begin, I even get into this, please in the comment section refer to my comment. Please do not be disrespectful or inappropriate. Any disrespect will not be tolerated and you will be blocked. I just don't have the time, energy, or patience for it. So please be respectful in the comments and also be patient if I don't answer you right away because this isn't really an interactive stream. This is just more so like, again, an update to let you all know what's going on. So, yeah. So it's been a little bit since my last stream. We did TFTC episode number 86. I almost wanted to say 85. Literally about 2 months ago. And I've been having fun with TFTC. Honestly, I hate to sound lazy, but streams have kind of been the easiest content for me to make. That's not to say, I'm coming here to be like, oh, guys, Divided Mind is canceled and all this other stuff I had planned is just not happening. That's not the case whatsoever. What's been happening behind the scenes is basically a lot of my time and energy has just been consumed by my caregiving slash caretaking responsibilities for my father. And keep in mind, he is an 85-year-old man. He also has been dealing with mild dementia since roughly around late 2017, early 2018. He's been dealing with it for a while. Thankfully, the process and decline has not been as accelerated as I thought it would be. I honestly thought he'd be a lot worse by now. However, it has come to the point where I think it's starting to affect the speech center of his brain because he can barely form fully coherent sentences almost 90% of the time now. And even then, that's kind of like a rough percentage of like what I witness. He does have good days, he has bad days, but it is noticeable that you can see a decline. Um, and I'm not saying this out there to shame him or anything. I would never do that to my parents. I love them very dearly. I mean, I've been with them since birth. I'm still here in the very house, well, one of the houses that we had. And I, as much as this job or this position in life has really taken a lot of years from me and taken a lot of my time and my energy and really pushed me to my edge and even beyond, I feel like this is where I should be because the last thing, and I've been very vocal about this the entire time I've been on YouTube and Instagram, the last thing I want to do is be one of those children who turn their back on their parents. Because let's face it, there are a lot of people out there who focus so much on their own lives they barely associate with their parents whenever they're older. And I mean like young 20s or 30s, sometimes even 40s. Sometimes depending on the relationship, obviously, if you got toxic parents and they just refuse to change or acknowledge their flaws and everything, I feel like that's a healthy thing to do because you're not entitled or they're not entitled to you just because they brought you into this world. However, for people obviously with like good relationships with their folks, I'm not going to be one of those people, like one of the good ones, to just turn my back on my dad and just try to salvage whatever mess of my life is, you know. That's just not how I do things. I promised both of my mom and dad when I was roughly around, I want to say maybe 12 or 13, should the time come where I need to take care of you guys, I will, for everything that you guys have ever done for me. Again, speaking about my folks. And I've stayed true to that word for the past literal 13 plus years now. And it's been crazy. Like, I mean, I never thought I would be here, but at the same time, this has also kind of been, it was a choice, but it was also a mixed thing where it's like family members would constantly say, take good care of mom and dad. And they kind of thrusted me into that position. But at the same time, I wanted to do it from the get go. However, whenever the interlopers started to kind of butt in, that's kind of where it started to feel less like this is good for me, and now it's more like, okay, now I got all this unnecessary pressure from family members, and I need to make sure I'm doing a good job and all this other shit. So it obviously really fucked with my head for a while, but again, I've still been doing it. And I can even say I've been probably the only kid in the family to really take this responsibility as seriously as possible. The one thing I don't like, though, however, is other family members butting their heads in, still trying to kind of like micromanage how I do things and trying to change our lifestyle. That ain't their place. I get it. He's your dad too, but don't try to change the man's lifestyle. If he's happy and content with the way he is, let him be. It's not hurting you. Just leave it alone. Don't worry, I'm not crying. I just got a stuffy nose today for some reason. Allergies, maybe? Sinuses? Draining? I don't know. Either way, it's been a lot of to get into the meat and potatoes, basically, a lot of the time energy that I've had, excuse me, a lot of the time and energy that I've had has been really focused on taking care of my folks, or my dad. I keep wanting to say both of them because still not over the loss of my mom. I never will be, but I digress. It's been a lot behind the scenes. My caretaking slash caregiving responsibilities have basically been amplified to where, even though I have very short moments like these where I can actually sit down and maybe record a video or do a stream with people, they don't come often. And it's mainly either in, it's really sporadic, but there are moments where it's like I do have time. But then after that, it's like something could come up and it's like, oh, my dad needs me, or I need to take care of something around the house or whatever. So it's been a struggle. And again, it's been taxing on my mental, emotional, as well as even my physical health. But I wouldn't change it for anything, really. You know, I used to get a lot of ridicule for being, a stay-at-home son, and people always tell me, it's like, why don't you work? Why don't you drive? All this other stuff. And it's like, look, when you're in this position and you're trying to give advice like that, it's not really helpful. You have to be in the position to understand, and not everyone is in the exact same situation all the time, because that's just not how life works. Some people are, but even then, each situation varies. Each person varies. That's what makes us all human. So, while I do understand a lot of people are kind of like, well, why don't you do this, this, and this? It's like, I would if I could, but it is not that easy. And even if it was, I wouldn't leave until it was time for him to go. I've been having a lot of like existential crises lately, but like, I think that's just kind of the darker half of my brain kind of like trying to make me feel bad for being almost 28 years old and just spending 13 plus years of my life just staying at home, you know. But at the same time, like I said, I think this is where I'm supposed to be. And I'm not going to have people try to make me feel bad for that. I'm also not going to have people try to make me feel bad for being on the system of being with Social Security. Like that program is for people who genuinely do need it. I cannot have income from my dad because that would hurt his income. I am neurodivergent. I do have mental disorders. I am not capable of working, especially in this position. So I needed some form of income because I didn't want to just keep taking money from my dad as well as my mom. Because, well, I wish I was applying for disability when my mom was around, but that process is so long. And that's something that really also needs to get fixed. But again, I digress. That is a whole other different thing. My point being is that caretaking and caregiving, because it is both, apparently, I even looked into it, those have been my top priority over YouTube and content creation. I have been and still am around in the community. I have been part of a large quantity of different projects, ranging from GPL Films in his Transformers Fallout miniseries. I will be debuting as the Autobot Skids in Transformers Reboot Season 2 by Cosmic Rust Animations. I've been very frequently included on the Scrapyard by BC, and I've actually been having a lot of fun on those streams. And I've honestly wanted to do streams again because, again, streams for me are like the easiest form of content. I just wish I had like a fancy background and like how a lot of professional streamers have like all these custom layouts and such, but I don't know how to do that stuff, or, I also lack the resources. So, but it's been fun. I've been around. I'm still around. I just don't have a lot of time to make my own content. And if I do, a large majority of it is on Instagram. And it's not a plug or anything. Like literally, I making YouTube videos just doesn't feel fun anymore. I feel this unnecessary amount of like almost borderline professional pressure of like having to make something at a consistent rate all the time. And I feel like if I don't, then I feel like I'm being a shitty content creator, or even, just a shitty person. I don't know. It's just, I want to make this work because this is all I want to do. Like, this is basically my discount dream job. I would just love to sit around talking about Transformers all the time. I've also been still considering heavily doing that rebrand of like, okay, I'm trying to be a everything account. I'm trying to do stop motion. I'm trying to do streams. I'm trying to do reviews. I haven't done reviews in a while. I think my last review was like almost like 2 years ago. Because I don't do them anymore. They're just not fun for me anymore. There's probably a way for me to make them fun. I'm just not seeing it right now. And I can't even deny that a large majority of the stuff that I have been making, I feel like I'm enjoying a lot more. But in terms of like the usual content that you would get from me, I just I don't enjoy it. And I feel like that's a big contributor as to why I haven't created anything lately. Like I've really been wanting to experiment more. I really want to try to still find, I guess, technically my style. But even then, I feel like, your style is you. It's just you being yourself. I've been very vocal on discussing mental health and my own mental health and everything, and really trying to educate people like, hey, this is how I am. And I'm just kind of stuck like this. And I know I hear the phrase people say like your mental disorders don't define you, but in a way they sort of kind of do. So I mean, I've been really open about that. And that's all because shortly after my mom passed, I really looked into my own mental health, and I really started doing research and like trying to understand like what my brain is. On top of the fact that I even learned I have something called executive dysfunction, which is part of most people with ADHD or are on the autism spectrum. That explains why I don't make stuff that much. That explains why I get burnt out so quickly. That's just, it's literally it. I could have a task that I need to do, and then all of a sudden my brain is like, I'm seeing the end goal. I'm not seeing the steps to get there. Or even then, I'm seeing one step and then I'm seeing another. It's just, that's not how my brain works. Like, it's not lazy. It's just lack of major motivation and lack of drive, you know? Because it's like, we know we need to get it done, or I know I need to get it done, but my brain could just be like, nah, we'll try again tomorrow or something. And it's like I said, even making this update video, just trying to film it and just get it out there. I've been trying for weeks. Since the last TFTC, I've been really trying to sit down, record, and make this, but for some reason, I haven't been able to do it. And it bothers the crap out of me because it's like, I don't like keeping you guys in the dark. I don't like it whenever you don't see a video in my feed, because it's like, that's my way of saying like, hey, I'm still here. I'm still alive. I'm not dead. But I guess, now you know. Here we are. Here's the update. So in terms of like the rebrand, I think I'm really going to make a shift, and I think I might just ditch reviews altogether. I might I'll still continue streams. If I do reviews, I want to do them in the short format. I don't want to do long 10-minute, 15-minute videos which honestly, those take roughly about an hour or two to make and edit, which I just don't got that kind of energy anymore. But I want to do more experimental stuff. I want to do more like video edits, like the sideways edit that I did, courtesy of the teachings from False Convoy. Like, I love how that turned out. I've been trying to make stuff like that for a while. The the Transformers That Grew Up With Me series, I've been having a lot of fun with that, more so than making a stop motion or doing a stream. I honestly think that's been the most fun because those don't take that long to make, and they're really good. I really like them. Also gives me an excuse to, take a trip down memory lane and just remember all the figures that I got through the years. Plus, it also shows you a little bit of my collection little by little. That's another thing. The TFA HQ, it's not even done. Like, at all. I've been still working on this as well as working on the house and in total. And like, it's just been such a long job. And I'm still trying to get it done. I don't think every figure is going to be put up, though. That's kind of a big thing. Because I have so many figures, and I might even look into downsizing. Just selling a lot of them at my local comic shop or just donating them, because I can't make money, unfortunately, thanks to SSI. But it's just been, it's a lot. Like, I love the original stuff. I'd probably just keep my Unicron trilogy stuff and maybe part with the original movie character stuff. But like, Studio Series has been it for me. Legacy has been it for me. All those other figures aside from Unicron trilogy, I really don't have that much connection with, other than sentimental value. But again, this is me we're talking about, so if they're not on a shelf, they're probably going to be in a tote. That's most likely what's going to happen too whenever I do a collection video at some point, is like, here's a tote of all the old Transformers that I have, here's everything else that's displayed. And I think that's pretty common for a lot of people, because it's like everyone tries to display their full collection, and I get it. But like, not everyone has the spaces that everyone else has. Like, not everyone has a basement dedicated to a collection. Not everyone has a man cave. I have a spare bedroom, and it's not even that big. It's actually quite small. But I mean, I'm making it work. And that's something that I do, is I gotta make do with what I got. Hell, even my therapist said that I'm basically making do with what I got. And she's not wrong. And to hear that from a therapist, from a licensed professional, I felt seen. Because not everyone gives me that credit. Everyone thinks like, oh, he's being lazy. He's not trying hard enough. I try almost every day just to get out of fucking bed. You want to talk about trying? That's one of the hardest things for me to do because 90% of that time, I don't even want to be awake. Rather, alive, more so. Or more or less alive. It's a lot. Life's hard. I hate to sound like every young teenager or young adult who's discovering the adult world, but that's just what society does to people anymore. It becomes more increasingly difficult as we grow up. We learn more complicated things and it doesn't get easier. I mean, for God's sake, we're going to be in 2024 next year. And a lot of people will not be able to buy houses just because of how ludicrously priced they are on the market. Hell, a lot of people won't even be able to rent places just because people aren't getting paid enough. It's bad. It all takes a toll. And one of the most consistent things I hear almost all the time is like, what are you going to do after your dad passes? Simply put, I don't know. And I don't want to think about it because that's not something that I'm focused on right now. See, I was listening to a lecture about ADHD and autism, the autism spectrum from on Instagram from a licensed therapist or psychiatrist, and something he said really like vibrated, really resonated with me, and that was people with ADHD don't live in the future. They don't live in the past. They live in the now. So like we could have something planned and completely forget about it until the last minute. We could try to make plans, but none of us would follow through it. Or a majority of people wouldn't follow through it because, again, ADHD, not all one case is the same. That's just how it is. That's how it is for me. I don't make plans. I don't make backup plans. If I make a plan, it happens on the same day or within that minute. That's how I do things. That's the easiest for me. Just because it works for me doesn't mean it's going to work for you. Just because it doesn't work for you doesn't mean it's going to work for me. So I have no idea what's going to happen. And I'm praying to whoever's out there because I'm not really religious, but I digress. I'm hoping to whoever's out there, whatever happens, that my dad will be here for a long while and that I continue to have the quote unquote stable living that I have for a very long time. Because after he passes, I'm pretty sure the landlord's going to kick me out since I'm not on the lease. And I don't know where I would go from there. I might be able to stay here for maybe a couple months until I can get on my feet, but even then, that's not much. So it's just one of those things of waiting and seeing. I do, however, apologize, even though I know I shouldn't, but I do really apologize for the delay in content. I really have been trying. It's been incredibly difficult to do due to the responsibilities, due to the time constraints, due to the energy drainage. It's just been a lot. But it never goes a day, it never goes a doubt within my mind that, like, I know you guys are still here. I'm very grateful that you're all still here. And I hope you can continue to be patient with me because I do have stories to tell. I do have thoughts to share, and I do want to make more memories with you guys. Being on YouTube has been a real privilege and a major blessing in my life, as well as a curse, at least with the negative stuff. But a lot of friends that I have through here, I am so grateful for you guys, even though I don't talk to a lot of you because introvert. I don't always like to talk. And even then, I only talk to maybe like one or two people, mainly just TF Addictress, honestly. It's the one person I talk to consistently. Like, and by consistent, I mean like daily. Like, I talk to her almost every day. But again, regardless, I'm grateful to all the friends I have. I'm grateful to the people who will be my friend in the future, hopefully. And I'm looking forward to making more videos when I can. However, right now, with the hand that I have, making content is not the card in it. And hopefully in the next draw, I will have that card and I can make something with it. I do hate that I keep having to come to you guys with bad news. I know I don't always have to update you guys, and let's be honest, I haven't really been updating you all that much. And I genuinely hate it because I feel like I have to say something to you guys because you guys are the ones that are basically almost chomping at the bit to see a video in your subscription and be like, oh, new TFA video. You know, I still want to do Divided Mind. I still want to do Trees in the Tarn story. I have so much stuff I want to do. It's just a matter of when can I do it? How long will it take? And will I have the energy to follow through? Because Treason was literally almost halfway done, and then for some reason my brain was like, hey, let's do a thing with punch counter punch. And then I was just like, yeah, okay. That's what we call hyperfixation, ladies and gentlemen. We just jump from one thing to the more interesting thing and then just abandon the other thing entirely. I still want to tell that story with Tarn though, and especially with the legacy figure, but even then I don't think I'd use that. I still think I'd probably use the Mastermind Creations because I really like that one. But and it's not like I'm not going to be around entirely. You'll still hear me and stuff. I'm still going to be voicing and things. I'm still going to be in streams. I still plan on being in the scrapyard. And if other people want me on stream and I am mentally and emotionally available, I would not be opposed to it. I was supposed to appear on JJ Prime's stream about Hasbro PulseCon because he invited me there, but unfortunately, by the time he messaged me, and also time zones, I was asleep. So I missed out on that, to which I formally apologize. And I know I may not be the most consistent Transformers content creator. I may not even be a good Transformers content creator because I don't cover news. And if I do it through Transformers Thought Corner, and I'm always a few months late, sometimes even a week late. Well, sometimes I'm a few weeks late, sometimes even a month late or 2 months or whatever. I just don't like doing news. It's like everyone sees it everywhere. It's like I don't need to do it. I could share my thoughts on the reveals, and I have been debating on doing those type of videos, but at the same time, it's like, eh. So the only thing I'm going to leave you with in terms of this is just if you want more content on a semi-consistent basis, again, this is not a plug or anything. This is just to kind of help you get your daily dose of TFA. Follow me on Instagram. I'm a little bit more active there than I am here. And to be honest, I'm having a bit more fun there on Instagram than I am here on YouTube. I don't know why. Maybe it's because it's a simpler platform. I don't know. Like truthfully, I honestly don't know. It's just I like making Instagram content more than YouTube content. And I could just take Instagram stuff and put it here on YouTube, but I feel like that's kind of a cop out. The only thing I can say is TFA does have a future. It's just it's going to have to wait. And I also want to thank everyone who's been subscribed and followed and really supporting me through the years. It truly means a lot. I don't do this shit for the numbers. I acknowledge the growth and I acknowledge the number. But it's been such a delight to see more and more people following and joining in and really helping the community grow and just finding that safe haven for everyone. You know, that's what I made this community for. This is supposed to be a safe haven for Transformers fans because let's face it, the Transformers fandom is pretty toxic and it's only getting worse. It's not getting as bad, but I mean, we're still dealing with Bay haters and G whiners and such like that, which, you know, it's obviously going to happen. But I'm really grateful to everyone who's stuck around and been part of the community and been part of the fun. And I want to thank everyone who's allowed me to be part of their stuff too. I really do. If I could name off every single name I've worked with, that'd be a long ass list. And it is a long ass list. But I'm very grateful for that too. I've been doing stuff I never thought I was capable of doing. I really never thought I'd be a voice actor, and yet here we are. I voice act for people. Am I a professional? Fuck no. But I do make good quality stuff. I'm just saying. I'm not even lying. Like the voice performances I did for GPL and Fallout Part 2, I chills. Like I know it's coming from me. I might be biased because I did it, but like I delivered like anguishing screams of horror, which is something I was never able to do when my mom was around because she always used to get mad at me and be like, "Michael, keep it down," which I understand. Um, but like I'm doing shit out of my league that I never thought I was capable of, and I'm really grateful to have those opportunities. And I've even thought about maybe just being a voice actor. If the Transformers content creation thing doesn't work, maybe I'll just try to be a voice actor. But even then, I don't think that's probably going to happen because I never went to college. I don't got no degrees. I could be freelance. I don't know. I still want to do content creation or Transformers content though. Like I have so many videos in mind. I have shorts I want to do. I have stop motions I want to do. I have streams I want to do. There are people I really want to work with. I've mentioned their names several times in the past. I really want to work with those people because they're so talented, and honestly, a lot of them have been inspirations for me in several different ways. Um, I'd love to actually maybe one day have my own website, like, you know, the TFA hub, if you will. I'd really like to have a professional sounding podcast series. I've been getting so many ideas for podcasts and discussions and like just doing stuff like that, but I'm also afraid to reach out to people and be like, "Hey, can you help me? Because I don't know what to do." Because normally 90% of the time when I ask for help, people are like, "Oh, just Google it." And I'm like, "Yeah, could do that," but I'm more of a hands-on teamwork type person where it's like I need someone to help me walk me through the process because I it's just it's easier and it's more comfortable for me, I guess. So, but yeah, it's there's always something percolating up here. There's always ideas, and sometimes some of them get shafted, sometimes some of them follow through. It just seems like a lot of the videos that I am making have gotten shafted because a lot of them have been overtaken by streams. And to be honest, I remember having a debate with one of my good buddies about like how streams aren't technically really content because it's like, you know, people who make stuff on YouTube, they really take a lot of time and energy out of their lives to like make these really good high quality edited videos and everything. And I've seen a lot of those type of videos and that's the shit I aim for. But I also don't have, you know, I don't have like a really good high quality PC. I got an iPad and an iPhone. Like that's it. That's all I got. I got laptops, but I don't know how to use them for editing stuff. And even then, those aren't really the type of stuff you use for that. Like I know a lot of people have like tower PCs and everything to make recording or not recording, but to make like editing and everything. So what I'm hoping to do is I'll still continue with iPads because one thing I want to do is get an iPad solely dedicated for making content. Because this iPad, this is a personal slash content creation one. Because I have like a couple games on here. I got some other apps. I got YouTube on here to watch videos. Excuse me. And that eats up a lot of space. And I think this is only like 128 gigs. I'd like to get like a 256 gig iPad just strictly for making videos. Like no iCloud attachment or anything to it, just literally blank iPad with the system software it has and everything, and just make that solely for videos. And I might even invest in that around Christmas or January because I want to make that happen so bad. It'll cost me a lot of money, but it'll be worth it. So, but we also got to see what happens because again, I don't know what's going to happen in that time frame. My dad could still be here or he could be gone. Like not to be morbid or sad or anything. It's just that's just life. That's the possibility that I have no choice to realize every day. And a lot of other people feel the need to remind me too for some reason. So there's that. But yeah, I will say there is one thing that I want to work on, and it's probably not a good idea because I don't have the full project filmed yet. But I have an idea in mind for a trailer for Divided Mind, at least a story trailer. And I really want to make that. Like, I know it's probably a bad idea. I know. Maybe it'll be a second teaser trailer because teasers, those are things, you know. But I really want to do that, and I might do that. So that might be the video you'll see for me for a while. After that, I don't think TFTC is going to be happening unless TF Adictress and Cyborg Raptor are free and I can get some more guests because while I enjoy having us three, the main three on there, I really do want to try to bring more and more people who haven't been on the show before. But other than that, I'm just not really inspired or motivated to make anything else. Like, I know we got a lot of Transformers news thanks to Hasbro PulseCon, which, by the way, Titan Class Tidal Wave, I cannot wait. Like, see, that's a video I can make, but at the same time, I also feel as though when it comes to making those type of videos, they always don't turn out as good as I'd like because it's just me doing a voiceover talking about a thing. It's like I mentioned earlier, I don't have a lot of confidence in my content anymore, aside from like these streams, because these are off the cuff improv, and some of the best stuff I say comes from the improv. Anything that's scripted or whatever, which by the way, I don't do script stuff because it's just not how I roll out. A lot of it doesn't hit as good as I'd like it to. So maybe I'll just stick with streams. And maybe I'll do like the stuff where I'm not talking aside from like voice acting and such. I still need to do a voice acting demo reel. I've voiced in so many projects. That's a video I really want to make on this channel too. I need to do a voice demo reel of like stuff I've been in. And then I need to do like an actual like here are voices that I can do. Because I have a large plethora of voices within my repertoire that don't get utilized a lot. And I would love for people to like actually hit me up one day and be like, "Hey, do you want to voice this character you never voiced before?" And I could just be like, "Boy, would I!" The life of a neurodivergent is not an easy one. Life of a caregiver slash caretaker is not an easy one either. Life's just hard. You know, kudos to everyone out there who's making it work for you. I hope everyone's doing well. And I hope you're taking care of yourselves and taking care of one another. It's like I said earlier, I'm just doing the best I can with what I got. I'm not ungrateful. I would like things to be a little more stable if it was possible. But as far as it goes right now, I'm lucky I still have a house over my head. I am still lucky I get food in my stomach. and clothes on my back and money in my bank account. And I'm still lucky I have a lot of love in my heart because the world really loves to just kind of rip your heart out, step on it, and force it back in your chest. And I'm also very grateful I still have my dad because if he wasn't here, I have no idea where I would be. And not to be depressing or anything, just want to say it because I have said this a lot growing up as a kid, but literally, or not as a kid, like a teenager, kid, whatever, it's all the same. I remember telling both of my mom and dad, if you go, I go with you. And the scary part is I'm kind of getting into that mindset again with my dad because he's the last family I got. Well, the last blood family. I still got non-blood brothers and sisters, and I got my lovely angel TFA actress. And I still got friends. But I have no idea how I'm going to live my life without my folks. And I know a lot of people do. But I'm losing two sets of people at once, and that's what hits hard the most. Because my mother was my biological grandmother. My father is my biological grandfather. And I am far from ready to say goodbye to him. So I really hope that his mild dementia stays mild for a very long time. I hope it does not progress anymore. If he's senile or whatever, fine. But if it's Alzheimer's or dementia or something, and by that proxy, I'd be losing him three times because then he'd forget me, and then I'd be losing my dad and my granddad. It's fucking sinuses. Excuse me. Anyway, yeah, I think those maybe are two videos that you guys could look forward to. The Divided Mind teaser 2, and then the voice demo reel, because I really want to showcase a lot of the stuff that I've been part of, because it's been a lot of fun. So after that, I think content's basically going to be on paused for as long as it needs to be. It's not the end of TFA. It's not my end or anything. I'm still going to be around. You'll still hear me. It's like I said, I just don't got a lot of confidence in my own stuff anymore. I had so many ideas. I had like an updated Armada figure list I wanted to make. I had a discussion based video about like what happened to the Transformers community because it used to be a fun place, and now it's like everyone's in their own little subgroups and their little cliques, and it just feels like a Transformers obsessed high school. You know, we got the good, we got the not so good, we got the downright dickish and the bullies and everything, and it's like it shouldn't be like this. It's like we all like the same thing. You know, I understand how my viewpoint may sound very childish to some because it's like it sounds like I'm living in a cartoon where it's like problems can be resolved by a well thought out, storyline and shit. And it's like I don't care how old I am. I don't care if I still have this type of perspective on the world and shit. We make the world we want to live in. We make the environment we want to be part of. Not everyone understands that message, and that's honestly what really hurts is that a lot of people just don't take advantage of that. And if they do, they take advantage of it in the wrong way. It's like I said, I made the TF Addicts for Life community, which that might be getting a name change in the future because that's a mouthful. But I made this little sub community to have people who got bullied and who were afraid to really be part of the bigger community. Just made them a safe space for everyone because I know what it's like to feel like an outcast. I still get treated like an outcast to this day by some people. I have had people just block me after stupid shit, basically. Like, I can't even have a civil discussion without someone feeling the need to either cut ties with me or just block me outright. I could get into more details, but I don't want to publicly shame someone or call them out. So I'll just throw a little bit of nonchalant shade at them, which I don't like doing, but at the same time, I'm also just talking about the situation that happened. So that's not to say they're a bad person or anything. It's like, I get it, but at the same time, was a block really necessary? I don't know. It's point being is I know what it's like to feel like an outcast, and I genuinely hate it. I still feel like an outcast. I feel like a shadow. Like I still feel like that old me where it's like I'm just kind of a ghost in the TF community. And I really hate that because I want to be part of it. I want to stand out. I want to inspire others not to feel like me. I want people to be better than me. I really do. The amount of times I've had people come to me and say like, "Oh, you're the reason why I made my YouTube account. You're the reason I made my Instagram." And I'm like, "Me?" It's like, "I'm flattered. I'm grateful. I'm happy you did it. But me?" Because it's like, yeah, that's what I want, but it's still shocking to hear that it's like I was capable of that. I did that. It's just weird. Anyway, I think another thing that kind of boils down to it too is like I said, I still feel like an outcast. I feel like I've been blacklisted in the Transformers community. I've had my fair share of shit go wrong in the early years when I started, but I was also a dumb teenager. But even then, I feel like a lot of people don't learn to let go of those things and they define someone by those past mistakes, where it's like, that's not how it works. Because I've grown. I have. The situation may not change, but I'm learning. I'm growing. I'm doing my best. Sometimes it doesn't feel like it's enough, but I'm still here, even though most of the time I don't want to be. And I'm grateful all of you are still here. And I already went off on a big thank you mushy tangent before, but I truly mean it. A lot of you guys, all of you guys who have stuck by me, you've given me the reason to keep doing this. The reason alone should just be me wanting to make cool videos and share my thoughts and everything and just kind of continue to treat YouTube like a Transformers fueled digital journal. But like I I have a lot of memories and I have a lot of fun on this platform. On Instagram too. I've made so many friends or people who I'd like to call friends, but I don't know if they feel the same way. You know, I've had a lot of great opportunities and I hope to have more in the future. I really hope I can follow through with a lot of the videos that I want to make. It's just a matter of when will I feel like I'm able to, and will I be confident enough to put it out there? But it's like I said, if you want your daily dose of, TFA, I post on Instagram. I got stuff planned on there too, and some of which I might actually be able to follow through on. But for YouTube, man, it has this unnecessary pressure, and I just don't understand why I can't follow through. It's just weird. I can't explain it. So there you go. There's your update. We've been here almost an hour. That's a record. Normally these updates go for a lot longer. All I have to ask though is, on top of being patient for more future videos and such, please send your prayers or good wishes, your good vibes, whatever it is that you believe in, to my father and also me by proxy, mainly my dad. I I've been having nightmares lately, and they do not end well. And he is always in them. His decline is not as bad as I thought it was, and it's not as bad as it should be at his age, especially. But I still fear that one day his brain's just going to give out, and then the next thing to follow would be his heart, because the brain controls literally everything. So the minute that goes, the minute he goes, and I'm not ready, nor will I ever be ready to say goodbye. So please find it in your heart to send some good vibes, some prayers his way to help keep him happy and healthy and safe, because he's the last family I got, and I'm really not ready to say goodbye. I don't know how long he has. I don't know how short he has, but I'm not ready to say goodbye to him. So with that said, I guess just stay tuned for whenever stuff comes out. If it's a month every month or whatever, then I can do that. Great. If not, sorry I failed you guys. Sorry I failed me. But the two videos that I mentioned will be happening soon. I think I basically have convinced myself, yes, I am going to do a Divided Mind teaser too, because I have a really good idea and a really good way to portray it. And I just kind of want to get people hyped for this. And then after that, I'll probably get back to cleaning and try to make some more space to film and also make the house not look like a box-filled landslide. We have a lot of stuff. Some stuff we still haven't unpacked yet, even though we've been down here for about 14 years. It's crazy. But we got a lot of stuff. So yeah. Anyway, just stay tuned. Please be patient. And I will hopefully be back sooner than later. If by any chance I am back, it's most likely going to be a TFTC, because TFTC episode 87 is most likely going to be a very heavy discussion topic. And one that I actually started to shortly discuss on the latest episode of BC's The Scrapyard. So, because we did a bunch of hot takes, and one of my hot takes was there's no such thing as a true Transformers fan. And that kind of inspired a whole like TFTC episode dedicated to that topic. So that's something to look forward to if that does happen. If it doesn't, we'll probably talk about Legacy United, because again, Titan Class tidal wave. Cannot wait for that. And I wish my mom was here to see that, because memories. Anyway, it's almost officially been an hour. I'm going to head off before this goes on any further. Thank you all very much for being here, taking time out of your day or night or wherever you are across this big, beautiful blue orb in space. If you're just waking up now, or if you've been awake, good morning. If you're just going to bed now, or you're listening at night, good night. And I hope everyone's been doing well. And as usual, please, please, please take care of yourselves, take care of one another, cherish one another. Stay happy, stay healthy, stay safe. I'll catch you guys in the next one. This is TFA 1024, the TF Addict, rolling out until all is fun. Bye.